This is stretch and fold. You dip your hand in water. Take it under the dough, lift up, fold. Hi, so I'm going to show you how to pre-shape the baguette. I have lots of dough rising over there, but this is the dough that I made for baguette last night. I put it in the fridge because it's warmer weather now, so I put it in the fridge, and then and this morning I took it out and it was small, so I let it sit on the counter until it got this big. So try to use the same bowl so you can assess how big it should be. So it's about 3/4 of a way full, then is good. So sprinkle some flour on the counter and take out the baguette. I'm gonna make three baguettes from this. Actually, I get some flour on my hands. Do you see all the stringy? That's what we want. Those are gluten. Gluten will help the bread be soft. You can get it all out with your hands. So I'm going to divide it into 3. You don't really have to knead it. You don't have to touch it very much because we don't want to get rid of the air bubbles that are inside the dough. See, it's very I'll put it here. It's very airy. So I'm going to divide this into 3. 1. Put a little flour on my cutting. Okay. So 3. So you shape it by, you don't want to touch it too much. You want to fold it in. And you just roll it up like a cinnamon roll. Then at the end, you can pinch it a little, but then you put the seam side down and you keep pushing it back and forth, back and forth. That will help seal the seam. Okay, so I didn't touch it very much. So this is good. This is pre-shape. You want to shape it in more a rectangular batard kind of shape. Because later, then you will stretch it longer and longer to make a baguette. Okay, so I'm going to put it right here. And I'll do that with the next 2. So I know it's kind of in a weird shape, but it's okay. You can just stretch it a little and then curl it in, and keep rolling. Be gentle with it. You don't want to push the air down. Be very gentle with it. And sticking to the bottom, then I'm going to just put more flour. Okay, so pinch it shut just a little bit, and then, so you gotta get some more flour in your hand. Back and forth, rolling back and forth motion. So see, back and forth is kind of sealing it for us. Okay, so we're going to put it like that. Okay, we're ready to shape the baguette. So we're going to sprinkle the counter with some flour. And also put it on your hand. This was what we pre-shaped into kind of a batard or rectangle looking shape. Okay, so you can sprinkle a little bit on top of the flour. So what you do, what I was taught by Peter Reinhardt when I watched him, is you just press it in the middle. You don't want to degas or, get all the bubbles out, but just in the middle. Okay, so when you do that, you can see that the dough is already extended longer. Okay, and then you take the one part, you can take the back or the front, but I'm just going to fold it over into the half. Fold it over, fold it over, fold it over. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it this side. I'm going to do the same thing. Fold it over, put just the edge and fold it over. So this is to give it, to elongate it and also to preserve all the bubbles that are inside. And then you take one side and fold it over to the other side. You can press it down with your palm, but I just like to do it with my fingers. And I don't like to make my baguette long because you can stretch it a little, and then you see this seam side, you want the seam side down to roll it back and forth and back and forth. I don't want to make my baguette long because I have to cook my baguette on a pizza stone, and my pizza stone is round and it's very short. So I have to make it the size of that stone. So I can't make it as long as bakery out there unless I have a long pizza stone, which I don't. So, okay, so you move it back and forth very gently. You don't want to squish it. Very gently move it back and forth, and you can see that it has elongated already, all right? So this is actually good. You just want to let it rise, and I have a cookie. You can let it rise on top of a parchment on a cookie sheet, but I like to use this kind of cookie sheet without the rim because then I can slide it into my pizza stone. So this is just perfect. It's just the length of my cookie sheet. Okay, so you're gonna let it rise. You're gonna let it rise. You don't want it to double in size. You want it to maybe only 1.5 size. And then we'll let it go for a second rise. But I want to do it again. I want to show you another way, just for fun, another way of shape of how a baguette should be shaped. Okay, so it comes in a rectangular shape like this. You flour your hand, flour the top. Okay, so instead of doing in the middle, you could do 2/3 of the way. Press it down. You fold it to take the side. 2/3 of the way. 2/3 of the way. 2/3 of the way. Like that. Okay, it's already gotten bigger. Okay, and then you take it, and then you take the edge, because this edge hasn't been folded in, and fold it all the way to this side. And then you just press down just a little bit. You don't want to press all the air gas out. And as you do it, you can elongate it a little bit. See, elongate it a little bit. It is very sticky, so you want to flour your hand. So I'll show you this other side. This is what I'm doing on the other side. Press it down. Press it down. Press it down. Press it down. Okay. So now we have the seam. Sometimes I have some part of my baguette is like thicker than others. So you want to try to make it, same size. but this is new to me too. I've only done this, well, I mean, you know, professional bakers do it daily with hundreds of baguettes, but I'm only doing what, this is what, I've only been making my baguette 20 times or so. So the more practice you have, the better it is you are at shaping the baguette. Okay, so not bad. I just don't like the seam to be the seam is hard to get rid of sometimes. Okay, so this baguette, I'm gonna put it on another tray because I could put it on the other one, but I wanted to have fun with it, and I'm going to do another shape. So this is what they call, I've never done this before, we'll see. This is what they call the wheat shape. So if I cut it, I can cut it, but not completely. I can move it to the side, cut it and move it to that side. You know, I should have cut it the other way. Oh well. It's experimental. There you go. Now it looks somewhat like a wheat, right? So I can sprinkle some flour on here so it won't dry out, and then I let it rise. Cover it with saran wrap and let it rise until 1.5 times this size. Okay, it's time to bake. This is how I have my oven, the stone, and the hot pan at the bottom. I'm going to slide it in. Okay. You can alternatively spray it with some water. Okay, and pour 1 cup of water under the tray for steaming, and close the cover real quick.